head in the left half, go to copy layer style, go to the right half, go to the turret head, go to paste layer style. Now, when you paste it, this is the difficulty in pasting it. We need to go back to the gradient overlay and move the gradient over. Now here's where the stroke is coming into play here. So what we need to do is change the patch job a little bit. Now you can do the full thing. The way I do it is I do half the image, then do the stroke in that way. But you can do the full thing, full image if you want. It just won't be completely symmetric. And if that's the effect you want to go for, like to have the right side a little bit wacky looking than the left side, so it's not asymmetric, you can do that as well. So patching up, I'm going to use the clone stamp tool. I'm going to select that one. I'm going to do sample all layers. I'm going to alt click over here, then click over here. And I'm going to drag that up. Drag that down. So now it should be close to matching. If it's not up here, I'm going to option click on here. I'm going to option click and do the same thing. Now you might need to zoom in very close to get this one up here. And the brackets are next to the P. The opening brackets lowers the size of the brush, and the closing bracket increases the size of the brush. So we can zoom in very close and have a lower brush. Option or Alt click and then brush it. And it doesn't really matter if it goes out here. We can go to the Marquee Tool and do more patching up by going over here and making it black. And if your colors are different, like my colors on the bottom left are yellow or green and white, we can press D to change it back to black. Now let's do Alt backspace and add the black up there. So now our patching needs to be fixed right here. So we'll go back to the clone stamp tool. Alt click towards the left or the right of it. Increase the brush size and let's brush. Let's brush. Right here, we need to do more stuff to it. Alt click on the left side or the right side and brush. And we have a little bit of blue right here, so I'll alt click to the left or right and brush up here. Alright, grab the Marquee Tool again and set this to black. Oops. Alt backspace. Alright, so now we should have a good to go effect. And we have a little bit of green up in the center, but we can bother with that later. It should be good enough. Clone stamp it and change the size, and let's okay. So that should be good to go. And then we can do the same thing with the turret if you want. Right click the turret head, go to blending options, and let's change the gradient overlay. Or turret head, we want the turret, not the turret head. So right click the turret, go to blending options, and let's do gradient overlay, and I guess I'm on the right side this time. And let's change the angle to 0. Okay, so it's going to go from bright white on the right side to dark. And then change the opacity down to about 15. Looks nice. Let's add a little bit of pattern here. Let's change the pattern opacity to 11%, scaled all the way down. And let's increase the opacity a little bit. %. Alright, right click the turret, go to copy layer style. Now go to the left side, right click the turret and do paste layer style. Now for the gradient overlay, just change the angle to 90 or 180. Alright, so now our sprite looks pretty nice. Okay, so what we want to do now is let's make a layer, new layer. Let's call it player. And then let's go to image, apply image. Okay. So now if we deselect, change every other layer below to hidden, we have our finished player. Now we just scale this down, or we just do file, new, and let's do it. Let's see what my original image was, around 56 by 78, or 36, 56 by 36. Maybe that's a little bit too small. Image canvas size, pixels. Let's make it 72 by 48. That should be good enough. So let's drag this out of the tabs. Press V or go to the selection tool here. Move it over and then drag it to the new document. Now it's very large, so we need to do Control T or Command T. And I'm holding Shift and Alt to do completely symmetric scaling. Oops. And try to get it as close as possible. Okay, now that might be a little bit too small, or it might not. And if it finds out you don't like the gray, you can add some more patching to it. I'm making a new layer, let's add a marquee, and change that to black. And change the opacity. Okay, or you can go back to the original source and the original source is here. We can actually move the turrets apart from each other. So if we go to the left half, bring that visible, we go to the turret, we can move it. So it's a lot more separated. And when we move it, you'll see it goes into the wing, and if you want to either fix that or eliminate that, the easiest way is to drag it below the wing. Or if you want to do it a more complex way, by having it still above the wing, let's bring the pen tool up, Command or Control, select this point, then move it down over here or someplace until you find a place that looks nice. I'm going to move it right around here. Okay. Escape a few times to go out of there.